All right, all right, all right. Hey ho, let's go. Welcome to Legends and Losers, my legendary friends. I'm Christopher Lochhead, your host. And today on the show, we have one of my favorite people in the world, Tim Rhode. And we're going to be talking about his incredible life and his mission to make a giant difference in the world. Off the top, the self-improvement, personal development, self-actualization, human development, whatever you want to call that thing, helping that whole industry has exploded. I did my first personal development self-actualization training program in the late 80s. And, back then it was something that most people didn't talk about. This was pre-Oprah, pre-Dr. Phil, pre-Gary V, Tony Robbins is probably the biggest thing that's happened in the personal development area, since then. And now it's kind of mainstream. I was talking to a buddy of mine who's in his late 20s, and he had met a new lady that he was pretty excited about. And I said to him, "Oh, tell me about her." So he starts telling me about her, and I said, "Oh, what does she do for a living?" And he says, "Oh, she's a life coach." And so it's been pretty extraordinary, the shift in that industry, going from something that, if you go back to Norman Vincent Peale's How to Win Friends and Influence People, all the way to today being a $10 billion industry in the United States alone. Now, Tim Rhode is a fascinating guy in this industry because he decided that he wanted to help make a difference for people, and he founded an organization called One Life Fully Lived. You can find them on the internet at onelifefullylived.org. And several years ago, he decided that he wanted to make a difference, and he wanted to give away this kind of information for as close to free as possible. And that's why One Life is a nonprofit. And everything that One Life does in the domain of the mantra is dream it, plan it, live it. And in particular, with a focus on financial health and well-being, career and entrepreneurial capabilities, and then, of course, who you are as a person, fulfilling yourself, finding your purpose, finding your passion, and aligning your life with that. So on the personal level, on the personal financial level, and at the career or business level, depending on kind of what you're up to. And so just the even notion to me of that you would take that kind of information and get some of the best minds in the world in those fields to come and play and offer it for as close to free as possible is an amazing thing. And so that's really who Tim Rhode is. So he's the founder of onelifefullylived.org, and he's also the founder of if you will, a mega mastermind group for men called GoBundance. And I've had the pleasure of being at a couple of GoBundance events. I was at the one this year in January in beautiful Whistler, Canada, with I'm not sure exactly how many guys were there, but maybe around 150 super high-powered individuals. And the interesting thing about GoBundance is it's sort of it's one life for the if you will, advanced man, or supposedly advanced man. And they call it a tribe for healthy, wealthy, generous men who choose to live epic lives. And one of the things I love about GoBundance is not only is it an excuse to get together, do something fun, like in this case, skiing and snowboarding, but this group gets together and they share their goals and their dreams and their and so forth, and they hold each other accountable. And then a big part of what they also work on is above and beyond their own careers and coaching and supporting each other in that, how can they make a difference in the world? And so that's just really who Tim Rhode is. And he's my backcountry ski coach. He's my brother from another mother. And Tim comes from a very, very humble background. He grew up in a small mountain town in the Sierra Nevada mountains of California. And he's a blue-collar guy. Those are his words, not mine. And, it took him a while to find his place in the world, but he did. He's one of those folks who had to kind of find/make a place. And that place ended up being real estate. And he became literally a category king. He was a #1 realtor in his market, which was a town called Manteca, California, in Central California. And he was so successful at that, he retired early. And today is a real estate investor, ski bum, backcountry legend that has mountain dirt rolling through his veins. And most importantly, he's the driving force behind One Life Fully Lived, an organization that is amazing, and GoBundance. So Colin and I had the pleasure of speaking with Tim, and we're going to share that dialogue with you now. All right. Well, here we are. Tim. Here you are on Legends and Losers. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing great. I'm happy to be on with a couple of my good friends, and this is going to be fun.
It's been a long time coming, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Great to see you, Timmy.
Yep. You too, Colin. You too, Christopher. I'm way excited to see what kind of magic we can make together here.
So I hear it. You got some snow right outside your front door. Is that what's going on in Tahoe right now?
Yes, as a matter of fact, it just turned to snow, and it's official. Like right after this podcast, I'm going to have to go throw the skis on and go ski down the front yard, climb the neighboring mountain, do about 3 lines there, and come back for my old man nap.
What time is the old man nap?
I should be back down by 1. So yeah, nice schedule.
Excellent. Well, Timmy, thank you so much for being on the show. Everybody knows how much Colin and I love you. And we thought we could start off by asking you a little bit about your own story. So why don't you tell us about a little bit about how you grew up and ultimately how you became a real estate mogul?
All right. So, Chris, like you, I kind of got off to a late start in life. I was the kid in the back of your classroom throwing spit wads at you and like looking out the window and imagine myself running on the mountains and stuff, doing anything but paying attention to what the teacher was saying. So consequently, I barely graduated high school. I never went to college. And at 25, I found myself a part-time grocery clerk painting street numbers on people's curbs so I could afford to buy diapers for my then 3 and 1 year old kid. I then found my niche selling real estate.
So hold on, let's just stop for a second. So at 25, you have 2 kids, and not to be offensive, but you're kind of a loser at that point, right?
There's sucks, doesn't suck, and legendary. I was between sucks and doesn't suck.
It's on the pathway to
but
legendary.
I was a good day.
And you know, when you had
far from legend.
When you had 2 young kids and you're working at a grocery store and you're painting numbers on street signs for their numbers on their road signs for them, you know, what's going through your head?
Well, first of all, I wasn't the one painting the numbers. I was the one going door to door selling because I was the salesperson. You did not want me doing the stencils in front of your house. Trust me on this one. But you know, it's funny. I think I always had a lot of hope. I always knew there was something better for me. I just kind of hadn't figured out how it was going to work out yet. But I think I was always an optimist. You
know, it's interesting. In another one of our shows, particularly recently with Adam Honig, we talked about sort of the insane enthusiasm and optimism of entrepreneurs, right? You got to be stupid enough to think it's possible. And there'd be all this bad shit going on. You're like, yeah, but we could do this. And what about that? And okay, well, fuck them. Let's go this way. Or
I made $65 painting addresses today. Yeah.
So you always felt like even though maybe you were struggling and you didn't have it figured out and you had 2 young kids and so forth, you still had that optimism.
Yeah, I think I did. I think I was, I knew that I was a salesman who just hadn't found their product yet. That's kind of what I felt like.
And how did you land on real estate?
My mom was in real estate, and I used to put flyers out for her and go to Tommy Hopkins and Wayne Dyer seminars back in the early 90s. Quick story, my dad paid for me to get my real estate license at 18. I didn't pass. My mom paid for it at 22. I didn't pass. At 24, I'm working nights, painting addresses during the days, studied my butt off, paid for it myself. Guess what happened? I passed. So, yeah.
3 times a charm.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Timmy.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? When you got to lay down the cashola yourself, it's a little more focusing, right?
Right. And much harder, much more difficult at the time. You know, 2 kids, working nights, just struggling to make ends meet. And it was called motivation.
And so how old were you? Yeah, exactly. You mean the rent and the wife and the kids were motivating you to get your ass in gear?
Yeah, very much so. So then, so I get my license, And at 24, I also had another income stream. It was people coming through my grocery line. I was always talking about real estate, and I'd refer them to my good friend Steve Reed. And then I did the math. I'd done 11 referrals, and I figured out if I
11
just
referrals from the grocery store. You're bagging
from
people's groceries. You say, hey, you want to sell your house, Jimmy?
Over what period of time?
this is in a year. I
Okay.
was checking out their groceries, and just so you know, they don't make the registers for a left-hander. You have to do everything kind of backward. But anyway, so I got my license. I referred for a year, and then I had the true story is I didn't have the nerve to quit. The big guy kind of put it in there for me. Candidly, let me think about this. I got mad at somebody that I was working with, and scratched their car door with a key
Oh,
because
Timmy.
I was so mad at them because they were messing with a friend of mine,
Timmy.
and I got fired. And it was me not having the courage to quit, and God saying, dude, you're not a freaking grocery clerk. So I was in the union. I could have fought it. And I remember when they told me, hey, somebody saw you scratching her beat up Volkswagen with a key.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, a 7-year-old saw me and told their parents.
I saw this evil man doing something really stupid.
Yeah. So I remember I left the office and walked out the front door and went, I'm free. And it finally gave me the courage to do what I knew I needed to do. So my first weekend in real estate, I held an open house. I sold that house. The people had a home they needed to sell in order to buy that house. So I listed their house. The next day I went out, showed some buyers the property, wrote a contract for them. 3 contracts my first weekend. I'm laying in bed at 2 a.m. Excuse me, I'm laying in the bathtub at 2 a.m. trying to come down because remember I talked about a salesperson who had found their niche. It was on, baby.
Well, now, wait a minute. So hold on. Let's unpack this. It's your first weekend as a realtor. That's what we're talking about, right?
Yes.
And you went into contract on what? On how much?
I held an open house and sold it, and they had to list their home, which I did,
So that's 2 transactions.
and then took some buyers out and sold them a house.
So 3 transactions in your first weekend, or the kickoff of 3 transactions in your first open house. And then, so how do you go from that to it's 2 a.m. and you're in the bathtub?
Because Sunday night at 2 a.m., I'm trying to calm down because I can't wait for Monday morning to call the other leads and to just get after it because I know I'm a salesperson who's found their niche, and it was on. So.
And I got to share this quick story. Shortly after I moved to Santa Cruz, I met an amazing couple, Kim and Chris Haas. And Chris used to be the fire chief in Manteca, California. And we hope to have him on the show because, first of all, he's an amazing guy, a very committed life of service, and his family has been in the fire service for multiple generations. Anyway, when I first meet him, we become friends on Facebook. And Chris was the fire chief in the town where you were the #1 realtor for the better part of what? How many years, Timmy, were you a realtor in Manteca?
I sold 2,500 homes in 18 years.
Unbelievable.
2,500 homes in 18 years in Manteca, California.
Yeah.
So my new friend at the time, dear friend now, Chief Haas, or the chief as we like to call him, we become friends on Facebook, and I guess he's trolling around my Facebook page, and he sees that you and I are friends. So I see him outside, in the neighborhood, and he says to me, he says, hey, I'm curious, do you really know this guy, Tim Rhode? And I said, know him. Yeah, I know him. And I said, why? Do you know him? He says, well, I don't know him personally, but if you lived in Manteca for the last 15 or 20 years, everybody knows who Tim Rhode is.
Yeah.
So can you tell us, how did you become the #1 realtor in your market and really in a lot of ways a category designer because you reimagined the position a realtor should have and you made people think about real estate a little bit differently than before. So how do you become the #1 realtor in your field?
It didn't happen overnight. It just slow organic growth, just like we'll talk about some other entities that I've gotten into since. Same things happen. But I consistently built a brand. Everything was centered around call Tim Rhode and start packing. Don't
That
call me.
was your point of view, right? That was your tagline.
That was our tagline. That was the point of view is a great way to put it, because it was a mindset. It wasn't call me for a no cost, no obligation market analysis.
None of
Don't
that
call me.
mamby-pamby stuff.
Don't call me if you want to. We can always start high and go low. Call me when you fucking want to move. Okay. And that was my mindset. And if somebody wanted to list their home too high, I'd say call Dave and Carol Bregan at 823-8827. They specialize in overpricing homes.
Oh, you did not. That is so great.
Yeah. And when it's and this was with somebody who was hard-headed and just wanted to put it at a ridiculously high price, I'd give them the Bregan's phone number and say, call them. They specialize in customers like you. And when you see it doesn't work, give me a call. So
the amazing, I hate to interrupt you, Tim, but the amazing thing about that is legendary category designers not only proactively design where they want to be in their market, but they also reposition the competition, and in this case, the old way of doing things, right? So the fact that you reposition them as, oh yeah, if you want to be overpriced and not sell your house, call these people.
Right.
That's the thing that a lot of entrepreneurs don't do. They don't A, position themselves, but B, reposition the bad guys.
Right. Yeah.
What was their relationship like with you over time as they realized you were repositioning them this way?
Oh, they were not fans, let's just say. And candidly, I took a lot of barbs within the real estate community. We did a lot of things that were untraditional at the time. We were one of the back in the day, everybody did everything themselves. And I learned around the country, and we were all experimenting with almost like a doctor's method of, I go in, I list the home right, I set the sellers up for exactly what to expect the whole time. I let my team know, all right, this is Bob and Mary, this is what's most important. They want to move on this time frame. These are the things they're concerned about. I'd set my team up, set the sellers up for success, and do everything I could do to make the real estate industry, which why does it take 60 days to sell a house and then it falls through? We tried to have everything. I wanted to own cut the crap real estate, a fair product with a fair price. You get your buyers pre-approved. I have my house ready to go. Why can't we close this thing in 3 weeks smoothly, efficiently, get her done?
Tim, when you were painting addresses on the curbs and you were masterminding that whole process, it sounded like that really set you up to mastermind this process.
Yeah, I'd done a lot of different, that's a great point, Colin. I'd done a lot of different side gigs where it was always me going out, getting the business, and then having others do the detail work, because that's not my strong suit. I love to operate within this 10% of my genius, and I don't mean that arrogantly, but it's where my sweet spot is, and then hire very talented people to do the details, and then just let them go, stay out of their way.
Awesome.
And you're an old school hustler, right, Tim? I mean, door-to-door selling in the beginning.
Oh man, I laid out what I call KPIs, key performance indicators. I knew I'd sell so many homes if I just talked to so many people. So it was more phone calls. I just pace in my office. Hi, this is Tim. Have you considered selling? Know anybody looking to buy or sell? Okay, anything coming up in the future? Cool. When you're ready, please give me a call. I'd call you about every 3 months. If your home expired, if it was withdrawn, if you're a for sale by owner, I'd go out and drive neighborhoods, look for homes that looked like they needed love. If the neighbors were out there, I'd say, hey, what's going on with this home? I was just really fanatical. I was like a drug addict looking for their next fix. How can I list the next?
in the tub at 2 a.m. trying to come down.
I got to find the next home to list or I'm going to explode.
Yeah. So
and how did you, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just focused on getting the next listing, and really important, coming through for people, listening to what exactly are you trying to do, and just taking it really personal. Call Tim Rhode and start packing. If you tell me you want to be in Topeka in 60 days, that's where you're going to be. We were in this together. We worked as a team to come through, the sellers, my team, and myself. So.
Yeah, it's interesting in real estate, that personal connection seems to matter a lot. Our dear friend Matt Hansen, who's been in the top 1% of realtors in the Tahoe area for over a decade, as far as I know, I think his slogan is, with me, it's personal, because he's such a heartfelt relationship guy.
Exactly. Yep.
And then tell us a little bit. Sorry, Colin, go ahead.
And that's an incredible skier.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Holy shredding, Batman. And biker. You better have your shit together if you're going to go on a bike ride with Matt Hansen.
Yeah. Gamer.
And Timmy, tell us about your marketing, because as a legendary marketer, hustling sales guy, and even though you didn't realize at the time, you were redesigning the category of realtor in Manteca. Tell us some of the things you did in some of your great television ads and other marketing.
Well, our thought process was, we take selling your home very serious. We take coming through for you very serious. We take taking care of our staff, our customers, everybody else. But I always had this, I don't take myself too serious. So I always wanted to have fun with it. And we did things like riding our tricycle down the main street with a suit and a briefcase. And I did the classic was the bungee jump with a briefcase and a suit, saying, "I'd jump at the chance to go to work for you."
And that was your TV ad, right?
Yeah, we had a TV ad. We had our own jingle. The song.
Can you sing the jingle for us?
I can. He listed on a Monday and he said it would sell. We are packing. For 6 months on the market, it had just sat still. We are packing. 5 days later, it's sold. He does it all the time, so we are told. And when our friends need to move, they call Tim Rhode and start packing.
That's so great.
That might be the corniest jingle of all time.
Yeah.
And did the authors of "To Do Run Run" ever send you a cease and desist letter? Or
never heard from the dude.
Sean Cassidy.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, Sean Cassidy might be hiding in the bushes to this day.
We came from the ask for forgiveness more than the seek permission point of view, and no one.
I don't think Sean ever noticed.
Yeah. So great. Which,
by the way, go to the do not call list. If I was a realtor today, I'm sorry, I'd be calling you. And if you said, "I'm on the do not call list," blah, blah, I am so sorry. You will never get another call from me. Then I wouldn't call you, but come on.
But you'd call list or no list.
I'd be calling you. Yeah.
I learned a good one for telemarketers from my 86-year-old father-in-law. When he thinks it's a telemarketer, it's a number he doesn't recognize. He picks up the phone and he says stuff like Santa Cruz County Jail. Or if they ask for his wife, they say, "Oh, she's in jail," or she died,
I got to try this.
So there's lots of things you can do to F around with telemarketers, which is probably a terrible thing to do, but still entertaining.
They deserve it. Oh, wait a minute.
You can sometimes you can just get a silence on the other end of the line, right?
Mostly I get silence on the other end of the line. And actually what I've started to do lately is when people call the home number, I answer it, Legends and Losers Saloon.
They're lost.
And normally they say, "Oh, I have the wrong number."
That's great.
So Timmy, how do you then, so you get to the top of the mountain. You're the number one realtor in your market in Manteca, California. And then you decide at some point you want to start doing real estate investing. So walk us through the sort of transition from realtor and having a team to ultimately real estate investor and your mission to create passive income.
I think a huge piece of this is the saying, defense wins championships. Okay. So I'm a grocery clerk. I'm making around $30,000 a year and I'm probably spending, let's say, $25,000 to live. And so my income goes up to 120, 160, 300. And what most people do is while their income goes up, their expenses go right up along with them. And I've just seen this over and over. And what we did differently is while my income went up, as I described, my expenses stayed low. I consciously lived like I was still a grocery clerk.
You
And I
didn't buy a Lamborghini?
No, I did not. No, I took pride in showing up to people's door in my beat up Subaru and having them look at me like, what about this guy? And then I just get in and I would show them that I had the brains to sell your house and the heart to care. And so people didn't, I found most didn't really care what kind of car I drove or whether I wore a really fancy suit. They cared if I could get the job done. But I think that's a huge point. I've since coached some people who made far more money, people that made $1 million a year for 15 years and had nothing to show for it. And it had me since teach people that you got to learn your ABCs. A's, what's coming in from all sources. B, what does it cost me to live? Few know that number. And C, what am I doing to fucking get somewhere?
Yeah, Timmy.
That's your, it's our job to end up financially secure someday. And I was obsessed. I never knew why. From 25 to 40, I was obsessed with fucking getting somewhere. And I would go out and write a escrow on like a duplex early on in my career and have no money to buy it. And I'd write a 6-month escrow and go, all right, dude, let's see what you got. And I'd have to make an extra 25, 30 grand to buy that duplex. And I would, so I'd write a 6-month escrow. I'd go out and I'd hustle. And let's say it cost 25 grand to get into it. I'd make 18.6 of that 25 grand. I'd put the extra, 6,400 on a credit card, eat peanut butter and jelly and mac and cheese for the next 6 months, pay it off, get a tenant in there, get it all stabilized, and go do the whole thing over again. I was really aggressive on fucking getting somewhere. Probably obsessive, but so I was able to. If there's a game by Robert Kiyosaki called Cash Flow, and in the game, when you're financially free, when your income from passive income exceeds your expenses, you get to turn your game board over. And at 40, I got to turn my life's game board over and choose what I get to do for the rest of my life.
So 25, you're politely a loser.
Yeah.
And by 40, you've got enough passive income, that is to say, revenue coming in that requires you to do nothing so that you can retire.
Pretty much, yes. Yeah.
Now, let's sort of fast forward. You ultimately ended up leaving Manteca, where you were living in the Central Valley of California, and you moved back to your hometown. Tell us a little bit about that.
So like we talked about, I was able to choose what I get to do. And both Tina and I, we weren't Valley people. That's just where we ended up, my wife and I. And we wanted to move to the mountains. So we looked all around and we ended up going where I grew up and where my dad still lived. And I also, one of the main reasons I chose to come back here was to see him off. He was in his 80s at the time and starting to go downhill. And plus, I mean, it's just spectacular. I'm looking outside as a snowstorm right now. And so we moved back up here to really start a new life and to live a new chapter. I believe in living multiple incarnations in your life. I had the nice childhood, derelict teens, early fatherhood, real estate period, investing period, and then I had my mom called it the walking in the woods phase, where I spent a lot of time. This is about the time I met you guys, where I was getting the goods in the woods, taking avalanche awareness, wilderness survival, backcountry awareness. I never knew why I was doing all of this. And then it all kind of came full circle when we started GoBundance. So.
Well, and I want to take this opportunity, Tim, to thank you in public for not just being my legendary friend and adopted brother, but also for being our backcountry coach. I mean, me and Colin and a whole group of us, you brought us into the backcountry. You taught us how to. I remember you coached me through buying my first set of backcountry skis. You helped me cut the skins and put them on my skis and make sure I understood the bindings and take me out all over the place, even though I was terrified and thought I was going to fall off and die. Put up with all my my pussy behavior.
Yeah,
and you really taught us the ropes in a. It's not even a sport. It's this legendary thing being in the backcountry. I love that quote from John Muir where he said, "There's no problem in the world that can't be solved by a long walk in the woods."
Yeah, he's one of my heroes, and we've all been out in the backcountry together and spent a lot of time in the boonies together. And to me, there's no better way to really get some time to think about who you are and where your soul comes alive, and that's where it is for me. So.
That's interesting. You mentioned the soul coming alive to me because I was in a spot just outside of Alpine about a week ago yesterday with my brother-in-law. And at the end of the run, this was a virgin powder run, one of our favorites. And I looked at him and I said, being out here just makes my soul sing.
Exactly.
I thought of you.
Yeah, there's nothing like when we're out, a group of us, and we're just doing something like that, do this amazing run. And here's the thing, to hear adult men giggle. There's just nothing better in the world. Just that pure, unadulterated joy of an 8-year-old, and from grown men, it's just there's nothing better. So and everybody's got their own thing. My sister-in-law loves to knit and crochet, and that's her thing. And everybody's got their own. Whatever it is, my hope for people is that they find their it, the thing that makes their soul come alive.
So, Timmy, if we think about the chapters in your life, I'll never forget being in the backcountry with you. It was you and I, and we were probably in an undisclosed location is the best way to say it. But one of your favorite spots, a spot that you had introduced me to in a secret area of Tahoe that very few people go to. And it was I think about a 2,500 foot climb or so that day. And I can remember us starting off, and I can't remember how long it had been at that point since your dad, Raymond, had passed, but it had been a while. And I'll never forget, you started to say to me, I've been thinking about something. I want to do something to honor Raymond. Can you share that story, the sort of the early thoughts of One Life?
Yeah. So like I said, I moved back up here to see my pops off, and he got dementia, and, I could just kind of see him going down. And at the time, the three of us were getting out and getting the goods a lot. And it became apparent that there was this gap between where my life was and where it needed to be. And what that was all centered around was the thought process that there are so many people not giggling, not getting the goods, not living a fulfilled life, and it just wasn't okay. It just broke my heart. And I was seeing my friends struggle and lose their jobs, and young people getting out of high school and not knowing what to do. And so that's about the time this thought process came to mind of I'm living my dream. I've come from this really rough place and carved out a magnificent life, and so few people are doing that. I want to help, and I've got two assets. One, personal knowledge on how to do it, and two, incredible friends like Colin and Chris and all the other people who have come, male and female, who have come into the One Life Fully Lived GoBundance world. And now we have this army that is, we're all flying in formation about making a huge dent in history and changing our culture to where it's cool to care about one's life.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't that long ago where even talking about this stuff sounded weird to people, right? When you sort of had a conversation of how can I design my life the way I want it to be?
Right.
That not that long ago, that was kind of a conversation that might make some people feel uncomfortable. The other interesting thing about One Life, there's been a tremendous amount in the human potential, human development, personal development movement over the last 40 or 50 years the interesting thing about One Life is from the beginning, we've wanted to take all that personal development stuff that in some cases costs, thousands of dollars to go take courses and so forth on. And somehow One Life has been able to make that kind of personal development, as well as entrepreneurial development, as well as financial planning and development, things that people spend a lot of money trying to get educated on, available for a pretty small amount of money. I mean, tell us about how you've been able to make these things, these tools available to people.
Well, first of all, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the first conference we ever had was back in 2011 with Chris and Colin helping lead it. And there were 92 people in my town of 2000, Portola, California. And Lochhead, first time I ever heard him talk about three kinds of people. You either suck, you don't suck, or you're legendary. And he basically took those 92 attendees and slapped them upside the head. And everybody walked out of there going, wow, this is incredible. And the next day, a bunch of us went out and got the goods in the woods, and Colin was showing people photography and stuff. And it was the precursor. And by the way, the whole event cost $20. We had $20.
Were we in the garage of a Catholic church or something? Where the fuck were we?
It was a Catholic church, yeah.
But it wasn't the church. It was in some...
Yeah, no, it's there. It's not their garage. It's their.
That was the church?
That's the church. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
I got it. It felt like the garage.
Yeah. So anyway, it was the first event we ever did, and it's amazing how impactful it was. People came out of that thing saying, "Let me at them." And we also coined the One Life Fully Lived: dream it, plan it, live it. That's our motto, and that's our whole mindset of it. And it's just grown, just like the real estate career, slowly, organically, with this incredible culture based on, I'm going to personally create the best life for myself I possibly can. And people are going to see this. They're going to go, wow, what's with him or her? They're more in tune. They look better. They're focused on the right things. And that saying, who you are speaks so loudly, I can barely hear what you're saying. People that have turned on to our vibe exude this full life living. And then their friends and their family say, hey, I want some of that. And that's how we've been able to grow and expand to date. So
if people want to get information on One Life, should they go to the Facebook page, the website? What's the best place if I don't know much about One Life and I want to get turned on to it?
I joined the One Life community on Facebook. That's the number One Life community.
That's a Facebook group, is it not? A Facebook group, Jimmy?
It's a Facebook group. I'd also go to onelifefullylived.org, either ONE or one, all one word, onelifefullylived.org. And also check us out on YouTube. We have over 150 videos, including some incredible testimonials from, like we were talking about, this young guy, Gonzalo Corzo, who came to our conference.
How old is Gonzalo when he came originally?
He was 18 years old and a freshman in college. Okay. And sorry, Gonzalo, you did miss the plane the first day. Yes, you did. So he's supposed to come to the conference because his brother Diego had come the year before, and Diego told him how great we were. So Gonzalo is going to come. He misses his plane, and he comes the second day, and he's so blown away by the community of people just taking action for their own lives that he goes back and he tells his parents, guys, I need you to believe in me. I'm going to drop out of college, and I want you to give me 1 year. And if I haven't done something with my life, I'll come back and we'll do it your way. That was 3 years ago. And now Gonzalo helps run like 3 businesses, has a bunch of rental properties. He's now 20 years old, on his path to financial freedom. He'll probably, how I could tap out at 40 financially free, Gonzalo may very well be there by 40. And all of these young people in our community, there's hundreds of them like Gonzalo. They know their ABCs, they know the One Life game, and best of all, they have huge hearts and want to help us change the culture of humanity, once again, to make it cool to care about your life.
And just so people are clear, One Life is a nonprofit, and if I'm new to One Life and I want to start participating, help us understand, Timmy. What are the costs if I want to go to a conference or start consuming some of this awesome content?
So here's what you'd want to do. Go to our conference. We have 2 conferences a year. One's in Philadelphia. The next one coming up is June 3rd and 4th. Right now, it's $250 for 2 days. Our keynote speaker is a guy named Jeff Hoffman. He's the billionaire founder of Priceline. That's one of 9 companies he's started. And like Chris and our other keynotes, he's not even charging us. And that's how we're able to put on such an incredible conference. It should cost $1,500, $2,000. We give away thousands of books. We free lunch. Just you're surrounded by incredible people, and that's one way. One other way is by going to our website and signing up for the My One Life Roadmap, which you can do for free. We're asking for donations, whatever you think's fair, but this is the class you wish you had in school. And just so you know, our teachings on this My One Life Roadmap and the One Life teachings are: who am I at my core? And that's a great question. Who am I? How many people get to some soul-sucking job? They're 42 years old. Listen to this. They have why didn't I ask myself this question? It's not too late. Who am I at my core? What's my dream? What's my written plan? How will I fund it? And how will I be healthy enough in my mind, body, and spirit to pull off this magnificent life I was born to live?
And that's all available for a donation if you want, and if you can't afford it, that you can download that plan for free and get going on onelifefullylive.org.
Yes, exactly.
Tim, I remember we were going up Scott Chair at Alpine Meadows. There was the 3 of us.
Yeah.
We were halfway up the chair, and I think it was virgin powder underneath us. And you had this look in your eye and this dream that you had already manifested or had dreamt up and were already in the process of manifesting. And you said to us, I really want to help the next generation become self-sustaining or self-sustainable. Right. And when you said that, it really resonated with me because my brother is 13 years younger than I am and was a little bit lost at the time. And after the first year of One Life, I thought that he might really get a lot out of participating the following year. And I sent him up to Reno, and I knew Chris was going to be there, and I knew you would be there. And I said, you just need to go hang out with these guys that I've met up in Tahoe because they're incredible, and you just need to get around this kind of energy. And he came home from that conference, and his life changed from that day forward. He still has the sticker, the One Life sticker on the back window of his car, and there are no other stickers on his car.
Wow. That's so cool.
So thank you both so much for that, because now he's involved in a startup that sells services to real estate agents that help them perform and access big data analytics for their market. And so, and then he's in the process of starting to put together his first deal for his first rental. So it's all thanks to you guys.
So big shout out to Skylar Vincent. Congratulations, Skylar. And
yay, Skylar.
I know how you're going to answer this, but I'm going to ask you anyway, Timmy. What's it like for you when you hear that story?
Oh man, it is so motivating. It's really addicting, the give back business, because when you hear stuff like that, it just fires you up to do more, and it just there's the ones that I most want to serve are the ones that most need our message. We're doing our first 1-day fully lived event in Philadelphia on May 5th, and we're going into the inner city of Philadelphia, and we've created content for 12 to 21 year olds, and we want to really go where people never get this message. And that was part of the first idea, was how can we bring all the motivation, all the experience, all the masters teaching those that never get this message. And so we're doing this first one in Philly this year. Next year we're doing 4 in Philly, Atlanta, Baltimore, and California. In 2019 we'll do 16, then 32. Within 5 years we'll have 100 1-day fully lived events all over the world. And within 10 years, we'll have 10 million people will have done the My One Life Roadmap. Big goals.
Yeah.
Jimmy.
Bigly.
Yes.
That's awesome. And can you share, one of the things I've been super stoked about is this inner city program. And as part of this, bringing this message that you can dream, plan, and live your best life, you've also been doing some work with underprivileged youth who've had criminal backgrounds. Can you share with us a little bit about the inner city stuff and particularly what you're doing with former criminals?
Yeah, well, so I've got this gentleman, Will Little. He's my brother from another mother, and Will was actually in prison for 10 years for murder many years ago, and he asked himself when he was in prison, why did you shoot that guy? and he was in a gang. And he kind of reflected on his life. He said, oh, yeah, dad left early, no good role models. I was in a gang. The guy shot at me first. I hit him, and that's why I'm here. And he vowed, when I get out of prison, I'm going to turn my life over and help other kids not make the same mistakes I made. So Will and I have teamed up, and he's helping me with the Philly one. And we're also going into juvenile halls. And we're working with the Boys and Girls Club, Big Brothers, Big Sisters. We'll be working with the juvenile justice system. I'm having a meeting with them. So what we're doing is we're plugging our roadmap, which is life's basics in a box. It's life hacks. And we're taking all these different entities that want to do good. Take Big Brothers and Big Sisters. We'll have a tool for the bigs to work with the littles on how to dream, plan, and create their best life. And what's amazing is everybody we show this tool to, whether it's juvenile justice, or even I've got a friend who's wants to work with the military when somebody's transitioning out of the military. What an incredible tool. They're just about to start a new life. What better time to ask the question, who am I? What's my dream? What's my plan? So we're so excited. I basically took the last year, and with a young lady from Canada, Christopher, you talked to her on the phone.
How's it going, eh?
Yep. Jenna Bain, she's 26 years old. She has a master's in neuroplasticity. So I've had all this stuff, this material.
Hi, Jenna. We love that neuroplasticity. I've been reading a lot about the plasticity of our neurological system lately. No shit. It's a fascinating topic, and maybe tell us a little bit about how you got her involved.
Well, so I met her at a Hal Elrod Miracle Morning event, and she and I started talking. And she's just give you a little background. She's got a master's in neuroplasticity. She coaches hundreds and has hundreds on a waiting list. 26-year-old. 5'0", just dynamo lady, and she's writing 12 children's books. She's the next Dr. Seuss. They're children's affirmation books. So anyway, I come across her, and I can just see that she's kind of like the opposite of me. I'm an old school teacher. This is good shit. You need to learn this. Just fucking do it. And Jenna is, honey, I know what's going on in your brain, and I know why you haven't done this before, and here's what you need to do to implement this stuff. So Jenna took my material and put it in a very user-friendly, let's be effective and implement it, and we're working magic. So we have a team, Brian Rocha, Lori Wan, Brandy Salazar, all of us, CJ Skog, all of us, we're just on a mission to change the world, and we're doing it. So we're the little team that could.
You sure are, Timmy. I'm so proud of you. You've been this has just been incredible ever since the day you first started talking about this. It's just been magnificent.
The success stories coming out of One Life are mental so far, and the difference going forward, the opportunities. Every day that goes by with One Life, new opportunities spring up to make a difference. So hopefully people listening will check it out, onelifefullylive.org. Now, Timmy, tell us a little bit about GoBundance. I just had the huge pleasure of being with you and the GoBundance, the men of GoBundance in beautiful Whistler, Canada last week. So share with us this other organization you started a little bit after you started One Life, GoBundance.
So first of all, speaking of shout out to GoBundance just the generous guys of GoBundance just donated around $100,000. to help us fund the next growth phase of One Life. So One Life is a 501c3 nonprofit. GoBundance started 10 years ago. Two knucklehead buddies of mine, David Osborne and Pat Hyben, started doing this 3-man mastermind group, and we go on these awesome adventures during the day and get the goods in the woods, and then go over our goals early morning, late at night. And we just started really, David is abundance. He has over 150 paychecks coming in. He's very, very good at making money. Pat Hyben is accountability. If you say you're going to do it, you better fucking do it. And I was adventure. So we're the 3 amigos: adventure, abundance, and accountability. So we went on a few trips. People, some of our friends said, wow, that's cool stuff. I want to go. So 5 of us went, and then 14 of us went. And then we coined the term GoBundance. Our tagline is grab life big. And if One Life Fully Lived is learning life's basics, GoBundance is living life at a mastery level. So.
And the other interesting thing is, and I remember the debate or fairly early on with GoBundance. Originally, it was a group of guys, and then there was a discussion about women and men and how GoBundance should evolve. And you made a decision to make GoBundance a men only group. Tell us a little bit about that.
That was the first time you spoke at GoBundance was the first real event we ever had. That was at Tahoe. It was only 3 short years ago, believe it or not.
God, to stand up there last week and see about 150 men?
Yeah.
The vast majority of them hugely successful in business, and wealthy guys, and guys really focused on making a difference. It was an extraordinary thing to stand in that room last week.
Right. Hey, by the way, Google GoBundance Forbes. And Forbes one of our members wrote an article about the experience with GoBundance in Whistler, and it's in Forbes. So if you Google
and we'll
Forbes,
make sure to put it in the, Timmy, we'll put it in the show notes for everybody. So the link will be right there. It is a great article. And I think about, starting all the way back at One Life and now GoBundance. I think, there's articles now in Forbes about this shit.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing because both groups started same way, slowly, organically. We set the culture early on in both groups, and it's just grown. We've never really advertised for either of these ventures. Everybody it's all word of mouth. So people that come in know we're no bullshit. We really care about humanity, and we really want to make a difference. I want to go back to your question, though, because we get ladies aren't especially pleased that we are an all-male group. We listen to our members. And at the first thing you were at 3 years ago, we broke everybody into 6 groups, and we talked about what's most important to you in this group. And guys wanted to be guys, and we wanted a place where we had a sacred space to be ourselves and to be men. And the cool thing about GoBundance, our wives, our ladies absolutely love that they're members now, because they know they're going with other men that love their wives, love their families, are true to the mission of why they're here. And now we do a lot of family trips, and it's grown. We have FamBundance, which is tacked onto our trips, and the wives come, the kids come. And at the GoBundance event in Whistler, the kids were actually selling products to make money for themselves and for a fundraiser for One Life. So
that's great.
So great. And as I was preparing for my talk at GoBundance this year, it struck me, that I've spoken in front of, 3,000, 5,000 huge audiences, but I've never spoken in front of just men that I remember. The first GoBundance was probably 20 or 30 guys. But to go give like a proper speech in front of 150 guys, I sort of thought about it. It is interesting that when you say, okay, this is a men's group and it's really focused on business, life, and giving back, and of course all the adventure aspects of going on these great trips. But you can have a different conversation when it's just a bunch of guys.
Yeah, it's a very, very unique culture, and the thing that I love is our pillars for GoBundance are financial freedom, age-defying health, bucket list adventures, genuine accountability, relationships, and giving back. And members of the group have taken on pieces like the relationship piece. There's a guy in the group who, Pat Cullinane, he and his wife Sam have organized couples retreats, and there's people in GoBundance who have who have joined me with the One Life mission, and everybody's given back towards it, and everybody has their own charities too. So we're healthy, wealthy, generous men who choose to lead epic lives. I think that pretty much sums us up.
And this year, they freely and quickly gave over $100,000 to One Life, which is just an unbelievable unbelievable outcome. If people want to know more about GoBundance, should they go to GoBundance.com, or where's the best place to meet?
Yep, that GoBundance.com, and we do have a GoBundance Facebook page too. So
awesome. Now, as you look forward, where do you see? Let's go back maybe to One Life. Where do you see One Life in 5 years? You gave us some of the big goals. So what should we be thinking about? The number of people who go through the program?
There's going to be 10 million that go through it in 10 years. We will have 5 years from now, we'll have strong relationships nationwide with Boys and Girls Club, Big Brothers, Big Sisters, the prison systems, juvenile justice system, battered women, churches, schools, charter schools, worldwide. We have my good friend Sujit Lawani is tapping us into his 3 million base on the international radio, and just there's a lot of different groups. I got a friend from A Glimmer of Hope, Lisa Harris, who's going to help set us up with them. They're helping the underserved in Ethiopia. So we just more contacts keep coming in daily of people who want to use the roadmap, and we just plan to be able to tweak it, to customize it for all these different groups with our team. And one thing we need to do this, if you're listening and you know foundations and corporations looking for a worthy charity, I think we're it. We want to be your charity of choice. I, as the founder, I've never taken a dime in salary. I've got the passive income coming from other sources. I never will take a dime. Of course, we have to pay our team, and not everybody does things on a volunteer basis, but we're very good stewards of money coming in, and we'll need it to grow this mission.
Is there a particular person you'd like to have them contact, Tim?
Yeah, just send I'm the best person, really. Just send an email to tim@timrhode.com or info@onelife.fullylive.org, and it comes to me. So
great.
Yeah, I'm pretty hands-on.
Now, Tim, before at least one other thing before we wrap, all three of us share a huge admiration and commitment to entrepreneurship. All three of us are what you might think of as small E entrepreneurs, guys who started off with nothing and tried to make something. When you read things like the story in the Wall Street Journal last year that says there's a crisis in American entrepreneurship, when you read research coming out of MIT and the Brookings Institute and others that says that the number of starts of new businesses in America is at an all-time low. There are more businesses that die every day in America than get started. And now the prognosticators are telling us that the millennials will be the least entrepreneurial generation in recorded American history. When you hear that stuff, what does it make you think?
Well, first of all, I know it's real because I go talk to kids, and everywhere I go, I ask them, how many of you are going to a 4-year school? And every kid raises their hand. And it just breaks my heart because I know some of them are just going to come out with debt. And even if they have a degree, they're not going to use it. Some should. If you're a pharmacist or a architect or a doctor, you should go get a degree. But so many kids are going down that path and getting huge debt that they can't use. Some should just go get a job right out of high school. Many should be entrepreneurs like you're talking about, and some should follow Mike Rowe's advice and get a dirty job and go be an electrician, a plumber, a truck driver. There's so many different paths, and that's one of the things One Life's going to be working on in the future also, is there's more than one way to skin a cat. And let me go back to so Chris, Colin, and Tim Rhode trying to go to a four-year college, and so many of these kids today, imagine a fish trying to climb a ladder.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, of course, you guys can speak for yourselves, but for me, college was absolutely not an option, and really, school, started to get hard after about grade 3.
Yeah, it's just hard for some people to sit in one place, and there should be models of what they can do. Let me go back to, so I'm in 3 high schools with Will Little right before our Sacramento conference, and I asked three different sets of kids, how many of you want to be an entrepreneur? And none of them raised their hand in 3 different schools, except one young lady raises her hand and says, yeah, I want to be an entrepreneur. I said, what do you want to do? She said, I want to be a social worker. Her idea of an entrepreneur was becoming a social worker. So I totally concur that mindset is dead today. And it's so sad because the barrier of entry today to become an entrepreneur is smaller than it's ever been. And that's one of the things what One Life has. Brian Roach, our executive director, accuses me of, my mind is so fertile. I've got all these places I want to take us. He says, concentrate on the roadmap, Tim. But my next thing I'm already going on is we want to have all these models for different ways for young people to work it, for different things that we can just plug and play. Like if you want to go sell Cutco knives, if you want to go, I'm talking to a lady named Ilan Bomani. She has her tagline is fire your boss and hire your kids. She takes her kids out and has them go to thrift stores and find undervalued items. They buy them for $10 and clean them up a bit and sell them for $120.
I don't know if you listen to Gary Vee at all, but this is one thing he's been on lately is there's all this, I think he calls it flipping, if I'm not mistaken, but there are all these opportunities to buy stuff really cheap, or even, look, we all have shit in our houses, right? And he said, you can sell that shit on the internet, and there are people making thousands of dollars a month, first with their own shit, and then going and getting thrift store shit and tripling the price and selling it online.
Right. So that's just one model. We want to start with like 5 or 10 with just exactly laid out. Here's step by step what you need to do. And we know there's hundreds.
Are we going to have a fake news module? How do you make money on fake news ads?
Actually, I won't go there. Yeah, I'm leaving it alone. So there's just so many things that young people can do to work it and make money from home. And our thing is we want to help them, make a good living without getting into debt and without working for the man. What better way for a young person to find something that's fulfilling?
And I just love this about One Life. It's one of the reasons the minute you open your mouth and start to talk about it, I wanted to participate with you is the people who can, I believe, need to step up and try to make a difference, particularly in this area of entrepreneurship. And, it's interesting, having been in Silicon Valley for the better part of 20 years, when discussions in Northern California about entrepreneurship show up, what a lot of people are talking about are, the guys that founded Google and the Zuckerberg at Facebook, or Larry Ellison or Bill Gates, are these incredible, iconic entrepreneurs. And they're great entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs that absolutely should be celebrated. And what I've learned is today I think of that type of entrepreneur, the type of entrepreneur I spent most of my career with, as a big E entrepreneur. That is to say, they get a big idea, they raise a whole bunch of money on Sand Hill Road in Silicon Valley from top-tier venture capital folks, and they try to build a category and a company and a product and get public and make a big difference and make a shit ton of money. And that's one kind of entrepreneur. I started off as I know both you and Colin did, as what you might think of as small E entrepreneurs. And the aha that I've had, because I didn't really think about it a lot until the last 6 to 9 months, it was a huge motivation for me in wanting to start Legends and Losers, is that for the biggie entrepreneurs, for many of them, that type of entrepreneurship, if you will, is a way up. For folks like us, smallie entrepreneurs, entrepreneurship is a way out.
Right.
And the thing that breaks my heart is the American dream is deeply connected to the entrepreneurial dream, particularly for those smallie entrepreneurs where entrepreneurship is a way out of a life of struggle or a life of poverty. And so the fact that One Life has showed up, and Tim, you have taken a stand, to quote the Big Lebowski, "This aggression will not stand, man," to try to make entrepreneurship and all of the tools to be an entrepreneur, even if it's mowing lawns, as available to people as possible at as cheap a price as possible, wrapped in this incredibly legendary inspirational package. It really is, you are an incredible American, Tim Rhode.
Thank you. I don't look at it that way. Hey, can I give you guys this vision I have?
Yeah.
It's kind of beautiful. My spirit coach, Janai Lane, was working on my intentions for 2017. And we go into this deep meditation. She had me do a visualization. And I had a visual of this golden humanity bridge. And it's like this. Just imagine all these people. And on one side are all the talented communities. There's Hal Elrod with the Miracle Morning. There's GoBundance. There's John Broman. There's John. Just a lot of different people.
His whole front row movement.
Yeah, his front row movement, flourishing leadership with Berghoff, all of you guys, and just all these. Rhonda,
hopefully the baby bathwater guys. Shout out to baby bathwater.
Hollis. So all these people, Jeff Hoffman, everybody who really wants to make a difference on one side of this bridge, and all the people who need it on the other side of the bridge. And my buddies like Will Little and Ray Lewis and everybody who's coming together on the other side to make a difference in humanity, who see that the system's broken and this shit will not stand, like you said. And we're all coming together, and we're right here, and we're just about to lock hands. And that's this bridge. And I'm having my good friend Tracy Osborne write this out. And in the background is the sun. And the sun is all the learning, the life's basics of One Life. And not only is it shining bright, but it's the light of divinity. It's a beautiful, it's God's light shining down on
Now,
you.
what had you done to get into this space where you could see all this so clearly, Mr. Rhode?
At this point, only meditation. There's been other times.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, it's this beautiful golden humanity bridge that is just coming together, and that's what we're creating. And when you said, where will we be 5 years from now? I truly believe that bridge will be locked together, and we'll have made a difference. And as we record this right now in America, Trump just became president. There's a lot of racial strife, and there's a lot of disharmony, and there's a lot of bullshit going on. But I see these beautiful green shoots coming up from humanity who cares, and it's going to be us. Jeff Hoffman said, there is no they, it's us. So.
Yeah, that's another amazing thing about One Life, right? One Life is an organization where your color, your age, your sex, we don't
political,
give a shit,
religion,
right? Political,
no religion,
right?
whatever.
Upside down, religious, not religious. And that actually, I encourage people to try to get to a One Life event, because there is an experience you have, and I know this sounds like I've been living on the West Coast too long, but there's an experience of shared humanity that you have at a One Life event because of that. It doesn't matter, fat, tall, thin, whatever you are. Like there's an acceptance that is incredibly powerful.
All right. Yeah, this next one's in downtown Philly at Temple University. And we're doing the one-day event before, and we know we're going to have a lot of our African-American friends there. And we're really reaching out to people from all walks of life. And it's a beautiful thing. So you have GoBundance masters, and people, if you know you start out unconsciously incompetent, then if you're wise, you realize I don't know anything. You're consciously incompetent, then consciously competent, and then unconsciously competent. GoBundance level and some of the ones I described on this side of that bridge are living at a very high level. And at our One Life conferences, we have people who are just starting out, people from all levels, and it's an amazing experience because all anybody cares about is helping themselves and helping their fellow man live their best life. So
I love it.
You're incredible.
Yeah, it's fun. You could tell I'm on a fun ride. I'm the band that I'm jamming, and the crowd is going, "Yeah, baby, let's go!"
You're more fired up than you were when you first started this.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
no, it's blossomed in a beautiful way. And the thing is you can tell my heart is sincere. And that's the thing is everybody's caught on. There's no ulterior motives here. It's just about getting the goods and finding your it. Dream it, plan it, live it. What's your it?
Yeah, Timmy.
All right. And I think on that note, Tim, I think we'll wrap.
Yeah.
You're an incredible human being. I love you. Thank you for including us in One Life and GoBundance. Huge shout out to those communities. And we hope that this discussion today on Legends and Losers will bring more people into both the One Life and GoBundance communities. I think we also have to point out, I love the fact that it's February and we can still see their Christmas shit behind you.
Yeah, I see Santa Claus back there.
There's the tree.
Tina's going to love this.
Yeah, no, she's going to kill us. She's going to kill us. But I think you've proven the holiday spirit can live way past the holidays.
It should.
It should. Why not? So, hey, one last thing. If any of you are moved by this and want to get into the One Life community, please reach out to me. There's a place for you to play. We need a lot of characters here. So wherever you find yourself, please join us.
OneLifeFullyLived.org and One Life Fully Lived group on Facebook. And with that, Tim, we'll see you again and go off and get the goods in the woods.
Get it. Thanks, guys.
Love you, Timmy.
Really appreciate you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. Tim Rhode on Legends and Losers, and we hope to have him back. Thank you so much. And thanks for listening, everybody. We want to thank you for checking out Legends and Losers. We really appreciate it. Please subscribe on iTunes. Leave us a legendary review. That makes a huge difference. You can join us on Facebook, facebook.com/groups/legends and losers. You can hang out with us on Twitter @legendslosers. You can email us for any reason, blackhole@legendsandlosers.com. And please tell all your friends. We'd like to do a couple of shout outs today. We want to say hello to Brandy and Lance Salazar. You guys are awesome and inspiring. John Berghoff of the Flourish Leadership Institute. You are the man. Thank you for all of your coaching and support and the incredible work that you do in the world. And we also want to say a special hello to Sean and Candy Douglas for hanging out with us and being such great supporters of Legends and Losers online and on Facebook. We'd like to thank Equity Directory, the invite-only network of entrepreneurs and startups exchanging talent for work equity. HarperCollins, Play Bigger, How Pirates, Dreamers, and Innovators Create and Dominate Markets. Outposition at outposition.com, legendary marketing and category design in Singapore. Floodgate Capital, empowering prime mover entrepreneurs. The incredible bestseller Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. Our friends at 800 CEO Read. Business books, why don't you read them? Project Relo, connecting legendary veterans and executives to create new opportunities. Extraordinary leadership. Our dear friends at Yama America, America's first personal martial art. Our friends at the Marketing Journal, good shit to read from Hart Hanks. And as we complete today's show, we'd like to remind you that all the information on Legends and Losers is provided to you solely for informational purposes. This oddcast is a sole property of the Legends and Losers Oddcast Network. In the event of a 4-hour erection, call somebody you like. Never jog around a prison. Support your local category designer. Watch the documentary Happy. It's good for you. In the event of a water landing, pray that your captain is Sully Sullenberger. Never eat yellow snow, and remember to surf naked. And our deepest apologies to Justin Bieber. Sorry, Justin, we ran out of time for you. That's it for today, folks. Thanks for tuning in, and be legendary.